Hi again everyone, Laura here at Hyper Stamper. I'm going to show you today an antique junk journal that I made from a vintage book from the 1950s. And I used this book just because I love the title, Still Meadow and Sugar Bridge. And look at the pretty flowers on there and on the spine. And I like the neutral tones, that's sort of my theme. And I added some vintage doily pieces here and the applique doily here. I made this little flower using a vintage button and some lace, newer lace. And let's take a look inside this pretty little journal. And we've got lots of space to journal on. Now, I found that the cover of the book jacket, was very pretty, and it was just so nicely aged that I thought I would keep it living inside this journal. So look at all the extra journaling space you get here. And you can even turn that into a pocket if you so choose. I do have the tea-dyed pages throughout the book so that you have extra journaling space, and everything else in here is authentic vintage and antique paper. No replicas, no digital copies, nothing. It's all the real McCoy. This pretty little tag I used from a dictionary page because I had this pretty little water ouzel bird and a vintage playing card just for fun. And that is on an antique book page from 1902 called, 1930s called School and College Days. And then another lovely image from that book. And this is from a yearbook from 1951. There's the Bantam basketball team there. And then just some tea-dyed tissue here that not tissue, it's almost like a wax paper, but it's not wax paper. This here is from a 1902 book called Book of Patriotism, which was another journal that's already sold, but I used the pages because they're just so lovely. Here's another fun little dictionary page tag I made. There's an image from that same 1902 book. And the flip side, look at these wonderful images here from this yearbook. I think it's wonderful. This is from a 1904 book. Here, a lovely image, and it's lovely aged on the back, so you can journal back there, or you can tear it out and put it in another project you're making. A lot of people decoupage with all the stuff I put in here, I found out. There's the back of that wonderful jacket, book jacket from this book. And here are the first pages of the book that I reinserted, and just gives you the publishing date, 1953, and a little bit about the book. This page here is from the Illustrated London News from 1950s. Look at this beautiful ballerina page here. And this book here is from another junk journal that's on Etsy right now, as of the date I'm filming this. It's the Heidi book. And I just covered up the title there and put remembered because you do have Heidi on the side here. And it's just lovely. And the illustrations in it were so pretty, so I kept as many as I could from that book. This is just a little recipe from a vintage recipe book. Look at how cheeky. I just love the illustrations from the 50s. They just make me happy. Made that out of an 1800s book page, this pocket. And I tucked in some 1930s Monopoly money. And I knew it was from the 1930s because all the pieces were wooden and the box was wooden, believe it or not, that it was in. And this is also from the book it fell off, so I just put it in for another journaling spot. How is that for resourceful? I used as much of everything that I know some people wonder about me tearing up all these books, but I do reuse them all. And for the most part, these books were unwanted. And I get asked a lot where I find them. I find them everywhere. I do not buy them on Etsy or on eBay or anything like that. I find them all. This is a really fun little piece here. This is a joke thing that they would have at motels here in Ontario where I'm from. And this one is the backseat driver's license. And it's all about, you would give it to somebody who's been backseat driving. So I thought that was hilarious, especially at a motel where they've been driving probably all day. Another wonderful recipe. Here's one I'm never going to try, chicken pineapple mold. I just think they're hilarious. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It just cracks me up. And there's more of that wonderful London News. Some receipts from the 1950s that you can journal on. And I made this pocket out of it, a vintage dictionary page with some antique papers on there. Even that's a little antique paper there with the Chinese symbol. 1930s music sheet. And I'll tell you more about the flip side of this one. This is, oh, what a pretty little tag, right? Made out of an image I pulled from an antique book. And here's a nice little mini booklet here, just filled with more vintage papers that you can journal through. And I attached that to this nice tea-dye page that I've hand stamped. And this came from a vintage bird book, Birds of North America. That's the yellow-bellied sapsucker. And this is from an 1890s school book called the Eclectic Series. These were also very popular journals on my Etsy page. And just, yeah, some more pretty little pages here. Let's see. Oh, you're gonna like this. This is a photo from the 1950s, and it's a Boy Scout camping trip. And I know Boy Scout things are very collectible. People love these Boy Scout photos, and I think I have like 2 left. Here's the Mother Goose page that came from this antique Mother Goose book. And this is a delightful one. I'll show you down here. Well, I'll get to the flip side in a second. Here is a stereoscope photo. Look at driving to market. 2 little piggies. These little piggies went to market. How fun is that? From 1898. What a great souvenir you've got there. And this is just from a vintage Yahtzee set. Back in the day when we actually played Yahtzee with dice, not online. And here is, and when I say we, I mean me, another tag from an antique book page, and that also a vintage stamp. And ooh, this one is from 1893, and this is one of my Demarest magazine. Look at this one. Oh, why am I selling this? Okay, this is really pretty. Gosh, anybody who does digital images off of vintage stuff, this is something you'll want. That's lovely. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting lost in that. That's a real find, and I'm sad I'm parting with it. And that's just from a 1970. Oh, look at somebody wrote a missing card on the back of that Joker. That's funny. I'm leaving that in there. I like it. And that's just an old image from an antique book of a battle. Early days in the Klondike. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's from a 1930s school book. And here we have this wonderful advertisement page. And I'm not sure. Oh, yes, I do know. That is from a very old magazine. Believe it or not, I know it looks like newspaper, but it's from a magazine. And this is from the Paris, France Almanac, 1936, Vendredi 7 août 1936, and that is Friday, August 7th. And on the flip side is Thursday, August 6th. So really fun Parisian. And I'm sorry to my French-Canadian friends who will say I butchered how you say that. And I'm so sorry, I tried. Look at this, the listener, February 26, 1948, recipes for the housewife. That's what we like to be called. Okay, that was sarcastic. And just more advertisements from that. I just put this little guy here to cover up a lot of type, so you could journal in there. And just some more from that. Oh, a Little Woman page. Isn't that great? I just love, I surprise myself sometimes. So I haven't opened this one in a while, but that is on my Etsy store, in my Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/hyperstamper with a capital H. I hope you'll visit my store and subscribe so you can see my journals before they hit Etsy. Bye for now.